Killer, Dipset, Lil Weezy, Cash Money. Yo, man, let me holler. Let's do it.
Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome and thank you for coming to the Blue Collar Education Podcast. Today is our first episode and we have a real treat for you. A multi-millionaire who has done over $1 billion in real estate transactions, and he's going to talk about his journey from start to where he is today and how he got there. We're excited to have you guys on this podcast looking in. Let's get into it.
However, over the last decade or so, or a little bit more than that, he has just exploded in the business market, in different markets too. You know, as far as, like I said, real estate. You own a lot of other companies, Mr. Diego, and you know, we're just really happy to have him here. I'm Clint Smith. This is my co-host Justin, and obviously we have Mr. Diego here today, blessing us with his presence and dropping a bunch of knowledge on us today. And you're gonna really get to see how somebody goes from really nothing to multi millions in business and over $1 billion in real estate sold. So really excited to have him here, especially as our first guest.
If you guys are in the market for a general contractor or plumber, or maybe you need both, check out Gulf Shore Enterprises. We have the track record to prove our quality, and we're always here for our clients. GulfShoreEnterprises.com.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you have infinite other things to be doing with your day. Yeah. So thank you for
no worries, no problem.
some time with us.
Took us a few reschedules.
Yeah, but we're here now. That's what matters.
But we got it in.
We made it. We made it,
brother. So for those of you who don't really know you, obviously, CJ gave a little bit of a background on you. We'd love to, catch us up to speed on where you've been, what you've done, and kind of push.
Yeah, how did you
forward.
start and what was your first business that you ever did? I remember there was something I read in an article that came out years ago that was kind of showing your journey. I think you owned like a stand, like a food stand at one point when you were young, right?
It was a hot dog cart, yeah.
Awesome.
But that was just a small business I did. But
How old were you then?
then I think I was about 15.
Yeah, 15 years old, running his own business. That's awesome.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But prior to that, let's go back. Like, I want to say it was like first grade.
Mm-hmm.
I started. So I don't know. A lot of the viewers might be younger, but there was this thing online called LimeWire.
Okay.
Where you would go online, you'd have it on your computer, and any song you wanted,
and you can download it.
You look it up, and it would come up online. You download it, and then there was a CD burner, and you would burn these CDs. So in first grade, I see these CDs getting burnt. My cousin had one at his house. He was burning CDs. So I started going to school, and I would tell everybody, be like, hey, whatever CD you want, I can make it for you. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, like whatever songs you want. So I would like say, hey, here's a paper, write down the songs you want. And they'd write it, and I'd go home, and I'd download it, and I'd burn it, and I'd bring them the CD, and I'd sell it to them.
Wow. That's
crazy.
Now, for a lot of these, like you said, the younger
I don't know if that's legal, but,
Listen, I think we're good on, what is it?
Statute of limitations.
Yeah, so I think we're okay.
So a lot of these younger guys, that are watching now, they might not even know really.
Yeah, what a CD is.
About CDs.
Yeah, so
but that's going back a long way there. Awesome. So you went from well, obviously at a young age, if you were doing that first, you had the hot dog cart. What was the reason you wanted to start business? Like why? Like was it necessity? Were you just in love with the business, making money? What was it?
Like going that far back,
it was more just like
I don't know. It was just more like I just always had a desire to make money.
Yeah.
What were you doing with the money you spent then?
I wasn't really spending. I was just saving. I mean, so I lived with my mom, and my mom was the type of mother that was like, I will get you the bare necessities.
Yeah.
So like, let's say it was time to go back to school, she would, hey, time to buy you a pair of sneakers, like $25, I could take you to Payless, let's say. It was, I don't even think that's around anymore. It was a sneaker store that sold like really cheap shoes. And I'd be like, no, I don't want those. Like, I want, you know, these Nikes or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, okay, well, if you want that, then you got to put the difference. I'm willing to put this. If that's what you want, you got to put the difference. I'm like, dang, okay.
Yeah, I gotta
So-
figure that out.
You know what I'm saying? So I always, I grew up, and we moved a lot, but we always lived in like low income neighborhoods. So when you're like, you know, when you got like the Payless or like the off-brand,
Oh, they're roasting you.
fake stuff, you're just getting roasted.
Yeah.
You know, so nobody wants that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
But
So how do you think growing up in that type of environment, like, pushed you to, you know, figure it out? Do you think that had any contributing factor?
it definitely did. You know, I look back and I said, man, I never want to be poor. I said, this is not the way to
That's
live.
not it.
Like, this sucks. But I will say this, so like after that, like, so I just always had like that little desire, like, to, you know, earn an income and make money. But my dad was into the sports memorabilia industry when I was a young kid, and he would do what they call the base, like the memorabilia. It's like a card circuit. It's like, it's in Chicago, it's in Cleveland,
So he was,
it's
like,
in Atlantic
traveling
City.
to
So he would
places?
travel. So, but I lived with my mom. But you know, some summers I would spend, you know, with my dad, and he would take me on these, you know, trips, and it would be small. You know, he'd be like, "Oh, look in this box. Like, find a card," and I would, you know, find a card. I'd buy it for $5. I'd sell it for $10. I'd take that 10, buy a card, and sell it for $25. You know what I'm saying? So
hustling.
I had like and I saw what money could do. You know, like, so my dad, he you know, he was kind of living the faster life at that time. He was making money, you know, young guy, making money, you know, city to city, you know,
As he should.
living
Doing his
good.
thing.
You know, we're like living in hotels,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah, boy was on the move.
so I saw that and I was like, man, like, I like this.
That's
Like,
what
I
I'm
want to
thinking.
live like this. So
Yeah.
I think that gave me some motivation too. I was like, this is like cool.
That's
like,
awesome.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Definitely better than living in a low income neighborhood and wearing Payless shoes for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely the other side of that coin. Right there.
So I think that me being with my mother and, you know, living like on a lower income, and then, you know, going and hanging out with my dad. It's not that he was rich. It's just that
He was doing a little bit better.
he was living a fast life. You
Kinda
know,
like the
you got money coming in, you got money going out. Like,
Yeah.
Like Rich
you know?
Dad Poor Dad, where he had his poor dad and his rich dad, and you got to see both sides. You know, kind of like.
And I think that's what happened. I think I was like, you know what? Do I want to live like this, or do I want to live like this?
Yeah. Makes sense.
You know,
Definitely.
and that just obviously you want to live
Yeah,
like
you
this.
want to do something that
You know what I'm
appears
saying?
to be a
So
bit
the
more fun.
exposure allowed you to kind of expand your mindset and go after more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So fast forwarding in the low income neighborhood, you're getting a taste of what it looks like to have some money in your pocket to walk around, do kind of whatever you feel like doing. Where are you at now? Let's say in your teen years. What are you doing now? What's your kind of hustle look like at that point?
So this is what happens. My dad kind of gets out of the sports industry, sports memorabilia industry. I mean, it's kind of a lot. Like, I guess we'd have to follow like a timeline. So I'm in like elementary school, like first grade.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing that. But there's a drastic thing that happens in my life, right? Like, my mom, you know, gets with her, you know, one of her childhood, you know, boyfriends and gets married. But this guy lives in Puerto Rico. So we end up moving to Puerto Rico.
Wow.
And,
No say, you're just
yeah.
She's like, hey, we're
yeah,
going.
I gotta go. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My dad, his life that he's living, he, you know,
have a
yeah, you're not gonna have
Right.
he's not stationary, right?
Yeah. You ain't going to the right school or a school period because you're
Yeah,
it's
so-
too crazy. Yeah.
So let's think. How old are you in fourth grade? Like 8?
You're about 8
Something
years
like
old.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
About
So
8 years old.
okay, so I'm 8 years old. I moved to Puerto Rico. Now English is my first language at this time. I mean, ever. English is my first language. So I moved to this place where I don't even speak the language.
Wow.
You
Wow.
know?
Wow. Talk about an outcast.
Yeah.
That's tough. For an 8-year-old kid,
Yeah.
leaving his friends, everything.
You don't even have the ability to make friends because you can't even talk to them.
Wow.
Yeah. So, good thing is that this just like shed like a whole new light. Like, you know, I feel like everything is about life experiences.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
being that I got an opportunity to have these different life experiences, I think it built the character and made me who I've become. So I moved to Puerto Rico. I'm 8 years old. I don't speak the language, but my stepfather owns a hardware store.
Okay.
And you know, I say I wanna make money. So I start working in the hardware store. I'm like, what can I do? You know, so you can work in this hardware store. We'll pay you $25 a week, whatever.
You're 8 at this time.
8 years old. But you know what? It's like, it's not a lot of money, but it's something to do. Get your hands dirty. You work. You know, it's better than being home.
It's a life experience.
Way
You know?
better.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it's cool though, because I'm with my brother. You know, we're driving the forklift, we're driving the digger, you know. So, yeah, we're organizing stock. So he had the actual store that had like all the merchandise in it. And then across was like,
A warehouse type deal.
no, it was a vacant lot and it had like rocks, it had dirt.
Yeah, aggregate company.
Yep. So
Okay.
he has that across the street. So it's pretty cool. Like when we're not in the store stocking and stuff, we're over there. We're like, you know, with the digger, we're moving
Yeah,
dirt around,
that's
this
cool.
and that.
Constantly doing stuff.
Yeah.
So here's the store, here's this, and then next to this over here, there's where he stores the cinder blocks, where he stores, you know, the bags of concrete. So when we're there, we're like driving the forklift, we're picking up the pallets, we're organizing, we're moving. So, you know, it was like a whole new thing I got to learn. You know, like more like a manual labor type thing.
Yeah. Didn't want to do that for the rest of your life, I'm sure.
No, so that helped me see. I said, man, you know what? This ain't that.
Yeah.
And you know, we also had like some animals. We had like a horse. We had a cow. So that was like also part of like the duties, like to tend to them. So we're like mixing the milk.
That's a
and
full-time job
We're
right
feeding
there.
it. We're
Feeding
fucking
those animals and taking
bro,
care of
scooping
them.
up horse shit in the back.
Like a mini farm, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing that, and then it's just a whole new experience, you know, because as crazy as it may seem, there was racism towards me, you know,
Because you were like,
because I'm Puerto Rican, but I was born stateside, right?
so they don't look at you the same.
So they look at you as like an outsider.
yeah.
So, you know, I start going to school there now, and all these people are like, oh, you think you're better, you speak English, you got green eyes, you're white skinned, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, I never even said that.
Yeah, the same as
but-
about me.
Yeah.
I just got forced to be here. I don't have a say.
But now that you say that,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
that's funny.
But no, I ended up learning Spanish, you know. I lived there for like, you know, 3 years. I ended up learning Spanish. I picked up on it quick. You know, when you're young, you're soaking everything up like a sponge.
Yeah. So you're there 3 years.
So then we moved here.
Move back to the States.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you moved back, where's it? Florida?
Tampa.
Oh, Tampa, Florida. Okay.
So I'm about 7th grade
Okay.
now, like the beginning of 7th grade. And again, we would move to like, you know, like a low income neighborhood. It's a neighborhood in Tampa called Sulphur Springs.
Know about it, yeah.
And then, you know, just racism again. Like
Oh,
I'm
gosh,
like
yeah.
the light skinned person in like an all black neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy how it reverses depending.
Yeah.
You can never quite get the right fit.
Yeah. So you know, but I've got to experience all these things, right? Like a life like in New Jersey, a life in Puerto Rico, a life here. So like, I'm like more diverse than a lot of these people.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of
Yeah.
people never even left their neighborhoods
Yes,
in
exactly
Tampa.
right. Yeah, especially in that area. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, you know, I remember my first day of school, like I have on like these Air Force Ones, all white, brand new. You know what I'm saying?
Fresh out the box.
And this kid is like, hey, I like those pearly whites. So I'm like, what? Like to me, that means you want to rob me,
Right,
So
right,
that
yeah.
you know, when you come from that side, you're like, if you say you like something, it's because you want to take it.
You want to take
No.
it. Correct. Yeah.
So I tell the dude, I'm like, oh, you like them? Then come get them off my feet. He's like, what? So then, like, he comes towards me, and I just, like, take a book from under the seat, and I hit him. You know what I'm saying? But
Kid was so confused.
yeah.
He's like, yo, bro, I'm complimenting you. I just really like it.
Yeah, but I don't know. But so I learned about this hustle, which is so then in the mix of all this, you know, bootlegging starts picking up as far as like clothing wear.
Gotcha.
So back in Jersey, New York, this is blowing up, massive scene, like fake Air Force Ones, fake Jordans, fake anything
All
you
the
want,
dupes, yeah,
anything
gotcha.
you want to fake, they got it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I remember going to Chinatown.
Chinatown, yeah, I was just gonna
You
say.
go into these buildings, bro, and they have labeled on the doors like Jordan 1, Jordan 2, and you go in there and it's just like boatloads of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I'm like, damn, like Florida's always a little behind, right?
Sure.
I mean, especially that time because the internet's not popping.
Yeah.
So it's like that little lag.
New York, New Jersey always been ahead.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, wait a minute. I'm like, I could bring this down here and I could sell this because this is not as available over here. You know what I'm saying? And then the Mitchell and Ness jerseys, that was popping. The throwbacks.
Big time.
You know what I'm saying? So I get with my cousin, I get with my dad. I'm like, yo, I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to sell some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I had a few $100 saved up. I buy it, bring it back. Now I'm selling it, you know? So what happened is,
You're not the light-skinned white boy anymore now. You're the plug now, huh?
Yeah, the plug. Everyone's like, man.
so not too far from where I live, there's a McDonald's. You know, so I come up with this idea. I said, bro, what if I'm not breaking any laws, right? Because you can't be on McDonald's. I'm like, what if I post up right outside of the McDonald's drive-thru across the street, post it with all my merch.
Everybody's seen you.
So now when everybody leaves McDonald's, I'm right there. Like they have to see me.
Yeah. This is
Like
in
this
the
is
neighborhood you
McDonald's
lived in.
and I'm here. So when they go to leave, they see me and
I
I'm
have to see you on the way out.
yeah, there's like this like a chain link fence and I get a cardboard, a big cardboard, and I write on it, you know, Air Force One, $50, 2 for $90, whatever I was doing at the time. And I like get these tie straps and I put it on the fence. So now people don't have to question. They're leaving the drive-thru. They're like, oh, hold up. These shoes cost $75, $80.
Yeah, so they're getting a deal.
You know? Real deal from the mall. So they see me, they're like, oh, you know, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, I got whatever you need. So
Yeah,
boom.
They think the shoes fell off the truck or something. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
No, I mean, a lot of times I would tell them, like, look, you know, they're bootleg, but they're good
okay.
quality. You know what
And
I'm
they
saying?
don't care either.
They don't care. You
Just for the look.
yeah.
Especially the neighborhood they're in. They just want to look good and feel better and things like that. Now they have access to do that.
So I seen like a pretty good, you know, that was like a good raising capital I did. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying these shoes for $20, selling them for 40, 45, you know what I'm saying? 50.
Doubling up.
I'm doubling up. So I get to like, you know, a couple thousand, you know, $2,000-3,000 saved up.
How long did that process take you? Pretty quick, it's probably. Huh?
Yeah, months, you know?
Nice.
So-
Nice.
So
I mean, let's think about it, $2,000-3,000.
As a kid,
yeah, as a kid, it's like infinite money.
and you made it yourself.
Yeah, you made it yourself. And back then, that's worth way more than now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's way different.
Balling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I find out about this this gold hustle, you know, like buying scrap gold, buying people's broken gold, you know, and
Now, how did you hear about that? Was that something that was just like in the community?
No,
or-
so my cousin had a store in New Jersey,
Okay.
and you know, he shut it down and ended up turning it into a furniture store because it got robbed and whatever, it didn't
Yeah.
work out. So I find out about this hustle. I'm like, yeah, I gotta buy broken gold. There's money in this. Nobody's doing this in Tampa. Like this is like in the pawn shops, obviously.
Yeah.
But this isn't like
Like
a
individuals,
business.
yeah.
This nowadays everybody knows about broken gold. You know what I'm saying? Of
course.
Like it's very highly competitive. At this time, like nobody really knows about this hustle. And I'm in school. I'm in middle school, so I start like telling everybody, "Hey, I buy broken gold. I buy broken gold." So now people are coming to me with only one earring because they lost the other one.
Their
People are
mom
coming in
shit.
with broken rings. Yeah, their moms or their dad's stuff. The girl would bring, I was talking to some guy, whatever. I took this from him, or he gave it to me. The guy's like, oh, I took this from some girl I was with. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I was like, okay, I'm buying it.
That's awesome.
So I'd buy it, and then when I run out of money, I'd go to New York and I'd sell it.
Yeah.
I'd re-up, get my money back, come back Tampa,
Reload.
boom, you know what I'm saying? Buy again.
I think the awareness of like being able to
But I was-
perceive like the gap
Identify, yeah.
that where like you could be making money.
At such a young age.
Yeah, it's honestly incredible.
But I was in a perfect market, right? Because, pawn shops are buying gold, but from adults. Like, this is not like I'm in the kid community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the best place for it.
Yeah, I'm in the hood.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where, like,
They're
I
stealing
would.
it to give it to you now.
It got to a point where I.
Yeah, I'm not asking any more questions about where it's coming from.
No, like by the time I was in high school, like I hit high school, there was, like, people knew about it, like in other schools. They'd be like, "Yo, I got some gold over here at this school," and I would like go to the other school to buy it.
Wow.
Like that. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
we're like moving
Well,
now. No.
Yeah, like I'd
So the
be.
name went out, get boosted out pretty quick.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And then I pretty much just stuck with that.
Yeah. So what did you
You had to get into real estate.
parlay that money into?
So now that we have this timeline going, so my dad ends up getting out of the sports memorabilia and wanting to get into real estate.
Okay.
He opened a company called Tampa Home Buyers, and I was just intrigued by it. I was like, man, this is like interesting. And when I was in seventh grade, I read this Rich Dad Poor Dad book. You know what I'm saying?
Just gave that book. I gave that book to one of our guys
Yeah.
today. Yeah.
And I read that, and it just opened my mind even more. So, so my dad starts buying and selling houses, and he's like, "Oh, if you want to make money, find me some deals."
Now, when you say buying and selling houses, do you mean on market houses? Like he's out here putting signs? in
No,
yards
back
and
in the
shit?
day, it was more for sale by owner.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
okay, off market.
This is mid 2000s.
Okay.
So it's more like for sale by owner, but yeah, you buy a house and you sell it, to a fixer upper, to a rehabber, or there was a lot of like people were getting loans. The banks their lending was
Yeah.
a lot more loose back then.
Yeah. Heartbeat, you
That was
get it.
what they stated income.
They had stated income,
Kind of like the car market
loans.
is now. Yeah, you just tell them I make this, and that's what is that how it was back.
You don't need any
Right.
paperwork,
No.
nothing from an
a lot
employer.
different.
Just
No, and there was, I mean, bro, there was a lot of craziness
Which
going
led to
on.
a crash.
There was, a lot of mortgage fraud going on.
so when you're in that point in your life, you see your dad making money, buying, selling houses, piques your interest. You're like,
So, yeah,
I think that's something I can get into.
So I'm like, yo, how do I make money? He was like, find me deals. So now I'm on the school bus and I'm just writing numbers down. You know what I'm saying? I had a Nextel, I had a Chirp.
I heard this story it was in the newspaper.
I told my mom, I said I need a phone. She's like, okay, but you got to pay your own bill. I said, that's fine. I need a phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Go
Yo,
get it.
and I got in trouble because back then it was like by minutes. Like, oh, you only got 400 minutes this
right.
month.
Right.
So you know you're going over.
You know what I'm
After
saying?
9 p.m. you're good though, right? Is that how it
Yeah,
was?
and then and I don't really know how it works. So like, apparently like a 20-second call is 1 minute. It's like, so I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So yo, my bill came crazy one time. You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm on the school bus. I'm writing numbers down. And I'm just calling people. Hey, how much do you want? Questions. Like what's the address? How much do you want? What's the square footage? And then boom, I'll just shoot it to my dad. I say, yo, I found this house. This is the address. This is the size. This is how much they want. And then if I found the deal that worked out, I'd get a finder's fee.
It's good.
I
It's
remember
like what they call a bird dog fee, right?
Yep. So my first one I found on the bus, and I made a $5,000 finder fee.
So now screw gold, screw the hot dog stand, screw fucking.
No, I'm still doing the gold.
Still doing the gold.
Okay.
I'm still doing the gold.
Dipping, I like that.
Yeah.
So you're making money here. You got that locked in.
Dude,
I
I
get
would
a nice
literally,
ass side
I would
hustle.
literally go to school, be in school in the morning, with the newspaper in the classified ads. Like, everybody's like talking, joking, and I'm just like this
Locked
in the newspaper. Like, and I flipped cars, I flipped anything that was a deal. Like, I'm looking at motorcycles, scooters, cars, real estate, anything.
So you like that middleman space.
Yeah,
right?
that gap. That's
I liked it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a thing called the bargain trader. Like, I'd go to the store, I'd walk to the gas station, I'd buy it. It was like $1. It's like a bunch of deals in there. I'm just like looking. I was always just looking for deals. And so pretty much I just saved up. I bought the hot dog cart when I was 15.
Okay.
And
So this is like after that now.
I learned quick though that, Tampa wasn't the market for that,
Yeah.
In the Northeast,
Yeah, that
hot
goes
dog carts
crazy.
are a big thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here,
You have your specific cart that you always go to.
people they don't see the value in a quality dog, They're just like, I could go to 7-Eleven, buy 2 dogs for $1. You know what I'm saying?
It's different, yeah.
Over there, they're like,
cultural thing.
I'm not eating that garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want a Sabret. I want a Nathan,
Yeah, for sure.
So all of these little journeys along the way, from moving to coming back, I think all of those things, and you tell me if I'm wrong, are like building the confidence to where you're at the point and you have the money to buy the cart. It doesn't necessarily hit how you want, but now you have like the confidence going into, okay, yeah, I can like,
How much
I can
was
make
the
a
car
business.
back then?
It was either 5 or 5,500. I don't remember.
I mean, that's still a chunk of change for a
imagine
kid who's 15.
15 year adults now are scared to do that, and you weren't scared to do that. And you took that money, your hard-earned money, and put that in there. How did it go for you as far as making money? What did you make your money back? Not really, or
So crazy story. I made a little bit of money.
okay.
I worked it. It didn't really make too much. So now I'm like, I want to sell the cart, but I'm driving one day and I have it took to the back of my car and somebody hits it from the back. I'm pulling up to a stop sign and they hit it. Bad but good because I did an insurance claim.
Okay, so now
You
you
know.
get the insurance money off the car.
So I got the insurance money. I kind of broke even. I think the insurance company paid me like 30-some hundred.
Okay, but you made a little
And
bit
then
of money.
and then I sold it for like 1,500 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I kind of made my money back, So yeah, fast forward, I finished high school, graduate. I saved up this gold I had. I go to New York. I scrap it out. It was like close to like 20 grand worth.
Wow.
And-
18 years old, $20,000.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So while I was in high school, though, you know how they have the early release work program. So I'm like, bro, I need a job. I want to get out of school.
OJT.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So my dad's friend, John Riles,
Yep.
had a company doing preservation and home inspections for the banks. The years 2009, 2010.
Right when the
the
market-
market is crashed. Everybody's in foreclosure
Because
You
of
know.
stated income.
because of
Because of
yeah.
saving
The
up.
banks just lending more than people can afford to pay.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So.
It's a tough time.
So it's just like a combination. Now I'm like, okay, this ain't really making no money. But it opens my eyes as to how many foreclosures are really out there. Like in the opportunity. Like, bro, no lie, houses at this time are like 5 grand, 10 grand.
Yep.
Stealing.
Like, bro, it's dirt cheap. It's like insane.
So you.
But Tampa then isn't what it is now either.
correct. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
Tampa's still a small, big town, It's
yeah.
like a big town, little city feel.
So what do you see? You saw the houses were super cheap. People are in foreclosure. What did you see as far as a way to make money?
So then what happens is my dad's friend that he also used to do business with, she's in Miami. She's living in Miami. And she calls my dad and says, hey, listen, I'm working for this guy. He owns a hedge fund, a small hedge fund, and he wants to buy property in Tampa. My dad's retired at this time, He sold whatever houses he had left, and he's kind of just like, we were in a deep recession, the country at that time. Like, there's like no confidence in the economy at all.
Yeah.
Like, America's like in the pits.
Kind of like where it's headed now.
Yeah. So this lady's like, yeah, like this guy wants to buy houses in Tampa, you know, and I would be the one like underwriting them and stuff, and you know, who better to call than you? Like, get out of retirement, come on, let's go. So my dad's like, hey, help me find some houses. This girl's in Miami, you know, she got this guy wants to buy some houses in Tampa. Let's see if we could sell him some. Cool. So that's what happened. So then I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So I'm working this job, and I'm, you know, getting houses on the side. Like, I start like, okay, I need to find houses. So, trying to remember. So yeah, we bought one, like my first duplex. It was in Sulphur Springs. It was like 20. It was like 20 grand.
Yeah.
Bought it, sold it for 28.
Full circle moment.
So I'm
How
like,
long did that take? Did you do any fix up to it?
no,
Or was it just
same day.
so contracted and
Buy it, contract it, close it, sell it,
basically
same day.
wholesaling.
Yeah, but I closed on it. It was a double close.
Okay,
close.
gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh wow, this is good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Now, where are you pulling the money from? Right?
He has his
I,
money out of
I had
here
money saved
from the
up.
gold.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we were at the point where you're like taking other
No,
people's money
no,
and you know
no.
making a play. Yeah, all you.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, at that time, I mean, bro, I'm 18 years old. Like, now you hear about young kids doing real estate, but back then you call a hard money lender, you're 18 years old. They're like, yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely
Like,
not.
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying? I kind of don't blame them, like, you know, because
I mean, yeah. it's
what,
like
what,
taking a flyer
what do you
on
know
the
at that age? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People just screw money up. They get money and they mess it up.
Yeah.
They're focused now. They're not focused later. Like,
Especially in that time.
they're
where-
unstable.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
and there wasn't really too many hard money lenders. Like, a lot of the hard money lenders were buying property themselves at this time.
Gotcha.
Because it was so cheap.
So yeah, it's like, why would I loan you? I can just go do this myself.
Yeah,
It's not
it
even
was-
worth it.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So anyway, so I finally I told myself, I set like a goal for myself. I said, once I make 30 grand in profit, I'm gonna quit like this job that I have.
Yeah.
And I quit it. I made 30 grand, you know, profit, and I quit. And then I just went full time to real estate.
How long did it take for you to get to that point? where you
What,
were-
30 grand?
Yeah, to get there.
Not long.
No, not in that market.
No,
yeah.
3 months.
Now, had you been setting goals for yourself all along the way, like with the gold, with the hot dog cart?
Yeah, I would set goals for myself, like, oh, I want to have 5 grand saved up. I want to have 10. It wasn't for any specific reason.
It was just like
It was just like a
benchmark.
milestone, yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
So, you're buying these houses. You quit your job. Let's fast forward maybe a year or so, maybe 2. Where are you at now? Are you still doing the same thing with buying and selling houses? Are you trying to figure out?
Yeah,
how to-
buying and selling.
Still buying and selling. So when did you transition from buying and selling to getting into the part where, like, you know, I think I kind of want to fix these houses up?
I would say, remember the house on Cayuga? What was
Yeah.
that, about 2014?
Yeah, about 2013, 14, yeah.
That's
Okay.
when I said, you know, let me.
I remember that.
Because I remember I was wholesaling a lot, and I was selling to rehabbers
Yeah.
and landlords, and I'm like, you know,
They're making a lot of fucking money.
I thought to myself, I said, well, if I can wholesale to them buy a flip
Yeah.
and remodel it and flip it, and I'm still wholesaling, the wholesaling is paying for, you know, the remodel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling it. I'm not coming out of pocket with it. And then maybe that profit from the retail flip, I could buy a rental. You know? That was my thoughts.
So you're still doing
Wholesale pays for the rehab pays for the rental.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. So, yeah, just the progression.
Gotcha. So you got your first one. You're like, what made you decide this one on Cayuga? I'm not gonna wholesale this one. I'm gonna flip this one. What was the deciding factor there?
I just liked the neighborhood. I was familiar with the neighborhood. I liked it. And
How'd you do on that one? So you bought that one roughly. I know it's a long time ago. How much did you acquire that one?
I think I
for?
paid $19,000.
Wow.
These are unfathomable prices.
It's super awesome.
Right.
Well, how much did you put into that one?
I want to say I spent like 70.
And so you're all in for what?
90.
89, 90.
Yeah.
And then what was the sale price on that one?
I believe I sold it for $135.
At how old were you then?
Well, 2013, 20?
20.
20,
And you made
21.
what, 40, something like that? 40, I don't remember the math.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 40 grand, 50 grand, something.
Listen, I thought I was doing okay.
Yeah.
At 20.
Yeah.
Getting like 15 and 20K wholesale
Killed it.
deals.
And then, so that was your first flip, right? But you're still wholesaling. Now you're doing flips, and obviously it's going great for you. What was your first rental property? Do you remember your first rental, or how long did it take? How many flips to get your first rental? And what was it? Was it a duplex, triplex, single family?
I'm trying to think back, man.
There's been a lot.
Yeah, there's been a lot of houses in between now.
Yeah. I want to say. So the thing was, I was creating rentals and I was selling them though.
Understood.
You know?
So you were going to get them stable and then...
Yeah, I was
push them to the market.
buying, stabilizing the asset, and then selling them.
And were you
know?
doing Section 8 tenants? Were you doing standard tenants?
I was doing both regular and Section 8.
Which one do you like more?
Section 8.
Yeah. 'cause
Easier to sell?
You know, easier to sell one. Two,
Why is that? Why is it easier to sell a Section 8 property?
it's for sure income.
Yeah,
You know,
so for a
when it's a,
100%.
when it's a cash tenant, it's like, oh, I lost my job. Oh, this happened. Like actually today, like at 12, I have a court today because I'm evicted a cash tenant.
So for a buyer of your rental that you're selling, it looks.
It's more appealing, and you know, like Section 8 has a bad stigma. They're like, oh, you know, they're low class people or whatever. But for me, I think if you have a good property, you know, you're not trying to be a slumlord. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a property and you're like, oh, my roof is new, my electric, my plumbing, like the house you're renting is good. You don't have problems.
They're gonna take care
I
of it
mean,
better.
they take care of it and they serve a longer term than a cash tenant. Your money's for sure.
And you're selling
it's less
quick
headache.
anyways, right? On your end.
Yeah.
As soon as you stabilize, you're getting rid of it. Because you have that longer lease term, it's better for your sale? Okay, gotcha. So let me ask you this. You know, we've seen the progression from young. You've always looked for the gaps and capitalized on those. Awesome. You've built up and up and up. How many to date houses do you think you've touched as far as rentals, fix and flips, wholesales? How many properties do you think you've went through total?
It's hard to say, but definitely over 1,000.
If you guys are in the market for a new home, whether it be a place to live with you and your family or a property that you can rent out for a lot of money, go ahead and go to apontehomes.com. They have literally the best homes in the Tampa Bay area, start to finish. The product is amazing. You're going to love it. Aponte Homes, the best in the business.
Like definitely.
A lot of houses.
And I read something in the paper. You were in an article recently, and this was a few years back, and it was saying that you were over $1 billion in sales as far as real estate is concerned.
Real estate transactions.
Transactions,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that could, that consists of me brokering a deal, me selling a deal, me, buying.
Being a group of buyers or something.
Just
$1 billion with
$1 billion.
with a B. Wow. And you have so obviously you've done pretty much every single thing there is to do in real estate.
Yeah, I mean, I've done mobile homes, I've done
Commercial.
I've done land entitlement, multifamily,
New construction.
new
A lot of,
construction.
you're killing it in the new construction
Yeah.
space out here right now. How many properties this year have you either sold or put on the market this year?
As far as what?
New construction. only, yeah.
Don't know, honestly. Less than 20 though. It's not a crazy number.
It's crazy.
Somewhere between 10 to 20.
That's awesome.
You know.
And some people don't buy 10 to 20 houses
In
in
their
their
lifetime.
whole life.
Yeah, and he did it in 1 year.
The thing is, the new construction takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
more hurdles.
Especially now in this market, it's a little harder.
The thing is, the market is slow this year.
Right.
We had a lot of things, with the interest rates high, with the home prices high, and just people waiting for the adjustment.
Election.
It's always historically slower the months leading up to an election, presidential election, but especially this one, it's just been very different.
So I got a couple questions. So you were doing your hot dog cart and you're managing that and running it yourself. The shoes, Air Force Ones and Nikes, you're doing that yourself, right? You're looking for deals yourself. When you switched over to kind of fix and flips and new construction and things like that, were you actually doing the work yourself? Or
No.
So let's talk about that. How were you hiring contractors and handyman? I'm sure you had a team that was doing this work for you, obviously. Talk about a little bit about that and the hiring process and some of the difficult things that you went through during that, things like that.
Oh man, that's been a roller coaster ride.
I bet.
I mean, first off, when you start, right, like you don't have any knowledge of construction and prices.
Who really does?
Like you're just
unless you're in that space.
You're just a consumer,
Yeah.
right? Like on my end, like I'm just hiring somebody. I don't really know the in and outs of this work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have an idea, but simple stuff like that's another thing. When I was a kid, like my dad was buying properties and stuff. I used to help do stuff,
Paint stuff.
top paint, tile,
Yeah.
little stuff. You know what I'm saying? But not to the full
Framing.
extent, like framing
Putting
and
doors and windows.
sheetrock and doors
Kitchen,
and windows.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like my dad would drop me off at a house he just bought, like an abandoned house, and be like, "Okay, here's garbage bags. I'll be back in 4 hours to check on you."
Yeah.
And I'd be just loading up the bags. But when you're actually hiring, you gotta hire people, and it's definitely a learning curve because if you don't find the right people, it's gonna cost you a lot of money.
In need of a roof in Central Florida? Consider Roof Doc Inc. RoofDocInc.com, the #1 roofing contractor in the state.
Making mistakes. And I definitely felt victim to that.
Yeah.
Was it like theft, or were they not doing it right? You had to redo
Mainly that. You hire somebody, they don't do it right. You got to get somebody else out there to fix it, fix the problems they did.
Now it's more expensive because
Or people just don't show up.
Yeah.
Then were you hiring like the cheapest guys you could find to maximize profit? Were they handyman? I'm sure you've obviously.
So there was different phases.
Gotcha.
In the initial phase, yeah, you're like,
Okay.
oh, I want to hire the cheapest guy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I think everybody does that.
Yeah, of course.
I want the cheapest guy
Yeah.
The lowest
to
bidder.
try to maximize my profit.
Yeah. And then you learn pretty quick that that's not really the
That's
best
not
way
how
to
it
do
works.
That's not the best way. No, definitely not.
So how long of a headache did you have to go through hiring these nincompoops, I'll say, to where you said, screw it, I can't deal with this bull crap anymore. I'm just gonna hire somebody, pay a little bit more, and go that route.
I couldn't tell you how long.
No.
Exactly, but I mean, I've been in that situation a lot.
Yeah.
And even when you go, I'm sure you still feel that same feeling, like even though they are the licensed guys, they're quote unquote professionals, they still suck. Some of them, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody's good just because they have a license doesn't.
Right,
make them
because the owner of a construction company could hire some subs that suck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
How do
saying?
you deal with all that shit? Is it just some part of the business, or?
It's just part of the business, bro.
No way
You
around.
just learn how to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
You know.
Gotcha. And then go ahead.
Now, are you messing with anything in terms of like syndications, or are you not really into aggregating
No.
like
No,
that? Okay.
I would like to. I've thought about it. I've done some research on it, but I haven't done that yet. No.
New adventure.
So obviously you've killed it in real estate. You've done all those things, but that's not the only business that you have. You have a couple other businesses, or a few other businesses that we know of, and a few side hustles. I know that you're really big into watches. I see you have a what is that? A Batman on your wrist right now. That's not that's not a cheap watch. I know you have a lot of other really nice pieces as well. And I know a lot of people, myself included, have been somebody who's purchased jewelry like that from you, and so I know that's one of your business, but you also have a business in New Jersey, right? And also another, like a construction business here in Tampa, right? So you want to talk about these other businesses, and how do you find the time to manage all that and still be successful in everything that you're doing?
Now listen, we don't have to get nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Some of these are higher ticket item things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You know? No, I honestly don't know how I have time to do it. You know what I'm saying? But apparently it's possible, and it's possible to even do more. I see people like Elon Musk. I'm like, bro, this guy smokes weed, and, you know, does this, does that. It's like, bro, how do you do that? You know what I'm saying?
Systems, processes, and the right teams, huh?
It's I
It's
guess
something.
everything's possible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I like that you said that, because I think across your whole entire journey up to this point, exposure has been the thing that has always seemingly pushed you to the next phase, right? Like the thought process is there and everything like that, being savvy is there, but that combined with just a little bit of exposure, I see that's kind of what's pushed you to the next level.
And also this too, me, I'm a business owner, small business owner here, and I've been around you a long time. And it's a big city, kind of, but it's a really small group of people, right? And word gets out pretty quick if you're a piece of shit or if you're a good guy. And over the decade that I've had the opportunity to know you and have this relationship with you, I've met a lot of people and come in contact with a lot of people, and not one of those people have ever said anything even remotely negative or bad about you whatsoever that I've met. So, how is that you've gone through all these businesses, and some people just start one business, they're pieces of shit, and what makes you want to be a good person, keep your word, and things like that? Because I'm sure that has a great deal in your success, is just keeping your word and being a good person. Like, what makes you? I'm sure there's times where you could have, I'm going to stick it to this lady, or take advantage of this guy. And what are the why have you never done that? And everybody can say, oh, I'm a good person, but there's got to be some kind of reason why you have never just wanted to be a dickhead. You want to talk about that or anything like that? Or
I mean, we could talk about it for a long time. I think it boils down to what kind of person you want to be.
Gotcha.
And your outlook and perspective of life. I like to I don't know, I like to operate my business and just everything I do off of morals, principles, respect, and the question comes down to, what do people value the most? A lot of people, you talk to them and they value money up here. You know what I'm saying? And I will straight up tell people, listen, money is not my God. Money is not number one to me.
Right.
Making money is more like a sport. It's fun. You know what I'm saying? I like the things that money can get you, things you can do with money. Yeah. But at the end of the day, money doesn't make a person. What makes a person is, your character.
Yeah.
Wow.
Your character and all that, like your principles, your morals.
And the money just amplifies who you are.
A lot of people are they're just maybe not literal bums, but in my vocabulary, they're bums. They get a little money, or they're lames. They get a little money, and now they think they're cool. They think they're superior because they got money. But at the end of the day, if you were to strip them of that money, they're nobody. You know what I'm saying? They're crappy people. They steal. They rob. They cheat. They're bad people. They only have a little bit of credibility because of the money that they have. But I ask myself, I say, if I were to lose everything today and have to start from scratch,
your name's good out there.
And I call people, would they want to work with me? Would they give me a chance? Would they give me a hand? And I would say yes, because I'm a good person. I have respect. I'm loyal. And I think that people, especially nowadays, the new school ways versus the old school, because I operate more like the old school way.
I agree with that.
Nowadays they just only care about money. So much.
Fame. They want to be known.
Yeah, and it's
and they only get the money to show it off. And it's like, what are we doing?
For example, me, if I give you my word, that's it. It's done. We don't need a paper. If I said it, it's done. And nowadays people value money so much. I give you an example. Back in the days, when I say back in the days, I'm not even that old, but 10 years ago, let's say in real estate, I'm doing a deal with somebody, Hey Diego, you want to buy this house I got? Okay, what are the numbers? Blah blah. I run it. I say, yeah, I want it. I go look at it. Yeah, I want it. That's it. It's a done deal. You know. Yeah, I haven't signed the contract. You haven't sent it to me, but on my end, I gave you my word. I'm committed to it. I'm buying it. Like my funds are reserved for that deal. You know, and there was a lot of guys that honor that. You know.
Of course, yeah.
So, you know, nowadays, in the later years, what started happening and what I started noticing is I would, you know, negotiate a deal with somebody on the phone. You know, I'd say, okay, yeah, I want it. Let's do the deal. Send me the contract. Time would go by. I'd be like, hey, you know, what's up with the contract? You haven't sent it. Oh, I just haven't had a chance to send it to you. Hours go by.
Shopping around still.
Yeah, and then guess what will happen? Oh, listen, I just want to call you and tell you I got an offer for $500 more.
And that pisses you off, I bet.
Yeah, because they're like, you know, what should I do? And I'm like, I think you should still honor your word and sell it to me like you said you were for the price we agreed on. And they're like, oh, I don't know, man. They're offering me more money. Right then and there, I don't do business with that person.
Yeah.
I say, listen, you do what you want, but it's going to tell me what kind of person you are. Like, that's the beauty of having your own business. And you know, you get to pick and choose who you want to deal with. Like, I like to do business with people that my principles and morals align with.
Got you.
If principles and morals don't align with mine, I don't need to do business with you.
It's bigger than the money.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's not all about the money. You know, and that's what I think is happening with the newer generation, that they're only valuing the money.
And not the relationships that you can.
And not the relationships. You know, the
foster with the people.
relationships, you can make money forever. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's what separates you.
And it gives you the bad rep. It's like, oh, that guy screwed me for $500, you know? And I straight up tell people, I say, listen, you make your decision, do what you want to do, but just know that if your name ever comes up in conversation, based off of how you react to this, based off of what you do moving forward, I'm going to let them know about our experience, about my experience.
And what you said, the relationships, you can make infinite money. I think that's just like a really, really big thing, because we preach that a lot in our courses, that, you know, relationships is everything. You know, in a bad time you're good, and in a good time you're great, you know, and it's continuous. But, you know, I think, like I just said, that's what separates you from a lot of people. And I think that outside looking in, that's the reason for your extreme success, is that your name comes up in conversation. I'll have a story for that in a second. Is that people automatically, oh yes, he's that guy. Yes, trust me, go with him. Versus, I don't really know about that guy. You know, like what you were just saying. And I remember one time I won't say the title company, but it was here in Tampa. I was doing a closing, and I was, the owner was there. I think they were short staffed, and he was dealing with me, and your name came up, and he was just like praising. He's like, oh, that guy, I love him. He's awesome. You get a chance to work with him. And I was just like, man, I pray one day somebody talks about me the way an owner of a title company was talking about you. And he was like, bro, he's done hundreds of deals here. And I told you about that guy. And, you know, it was just, it was really awesome to kind of witness that firsthand, that somebody really appreciates the old school style of work, and, you know, and just keeping your word, and having that personality that you do follow through with what you say. And the people notice that. People see that. Even other owners of other companies, especially a title company, when you're in real estate, to have that kind of reputation is it is invaluable. You know, it's awesome.
And I think the real estate and the construction are both heavily still an old school style of business, in which the currency is truly the relationship.
Yeah.
So
let's go back to the construction, and I know we don't have too much time here left, but let's talk a few minutes about the construction, and how do you go about now finding the right contractors to actually do your new builds and things like that?
Man, I'll say this. I actually research people. You know, like if I meet a contractor, and they're like, you know, I could do this, I could do that, or I've done this, or I've done that. Like, now I'm going to say, like, not photos. Like, I need to go to your job sites. I want to see what you're doing.
It's huge.
I need to see it in person.
What do you look for when you go there?
I look for things. I mean, now I have more knowledge. Now I know what to look for versus, you know, when I'm a little kid.
Yeah, so for the people out here watching, who want to get into fix and flips, like what could you tell them to look for when they're looking?
I mean, listen, if you're gonna hire a plumber, make sure they're credible. Make sure they've been in business. I mean, you can go to the building department and you can see the permits people have pulled. You know, you could say, let me see what this company's done. And you could see their permits. You could see how many jobs they've done. You can see if if they failed a bunch of inspections. Like, it's public records. I can go on the computer right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I could see if you had a bunch of failed inspections. If I could even see your timeline. You commenced construction this date. You ended this date. Like, okay, you're telling me you could do a house in 4 months, but I haven't seen one that you've done in 4 months. I'm looking online. They've all been 8 months, 10 months.
Wow.
Like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
So researching the back end researching is huge.
Research, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Never
really
even thought
vetting
about
the
like
people.
that. Yeah, that's awesome. You can't just take everyone's word.
No.
Yeah, or pictures will always lie. You know, we've dealt with
Yeah,
that.
I could go on Google right now and take pictures. You know what I'm saying?
Or they take the picture at just the right angle so you can't see
Well,
all the
yeah.
other shit that's wrong.
I'm sure you've had that before, right?
Yeah, of course.
Send you a photo saying it's done, and it's like, bro, what about the other side of the wall?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. What do you do when you find a contractor? You think he's good. You start working with them, and it's just not going well for you during the project, or maybe you've done a few good projects with them, and it's just it's not the way it started. How do you go about firing them? Are you just like, I'm done with you, or what's the process of letting them go? Because I know a lot of people, they get into business with people, they build some sort of relationship, and then they kind of hold on. We were talking the other day, holding on to people that aren't good for your company for too long could damage you. How do you go about cutting those ties?
I mean, it just depends. Could be somebody you just say. I mean, I've had it to where I just stop using them, just
Gotcha.
phase them out, or I've had it where I'm like, look, don't go back to my job site. Like, you're done.
Yeah.
Depending on what they're doing.
Yeah, like, you're done. Like, don't go back there. No, but let me fix it. No, I don't want you there. If I see you there, you're gonna get trespassed.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to, like,
You got to do
you
it.
have to do it.
You got to
Yeah.
do it, man. You got to do it.
So, we don't want to keep you too much longer.
You're very busy.
Yeah. We know you also have an eviction that you're working with today.
We appreciate you coming in, especially being on the first one, showing us love, showing us that support is huge for us. You're a best friend of mine. You're definitely a mentor of mine. Somebody I really look up to, aspire to be like, not only as a person but as a businessman as well. I'm sure Justin feels the same way.
Absolutely.
And
Nothing but nice
like I said,
things to
we
say.
definitely appreciate you coming on and blessing us with your presence and your time, man, and your knowledge. And hopefully people out here can get some inspiration for your own business and your own journey, and see that somebody who didn't grow up rich was able to build riches by himself, finding opportunities in the marketplace, capitalizing on those things, educating himself along the way, and continuously growing and keeping morals as number one always, and money on the back end,
And before we let you get out of here, what's one thing that you feel has been the most impactful bit of wisdom or influence you've received that someone's told you or read along your journey that's just always stuck with you?
Can't really say something that that's sticking out to me, or I could recall like somebody has said to me, but I can say this. It's built up to this. It wasn't like quick, but I live by this now, and I really just believe in having faith.
Deep.
Faith in God. Like, everything's in. No matter what's happening, no matter what's going on, no matter what the situation may be, if you just keep your faith, you're gonna get through it.
That's deep.
Because a lot of people look for God when things are bad, right? I talk to him every day, and just, I could literally just be driving to go look at a house, and I'm thanking God. I'm like, you know what? I'm thankful that I have a deal to go look at. I'm thankful that I have the vehicle that I have to get there. I'm thankful that, because I can honestly say that you know, from when you're a kid, you always like envision like, oh, when I'm older, I want to do this or do that. I can honestly say that I have made it further than I saw
vision you
myself
once had.
making it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I was a little kid, just like to think like having $1 million was like, bro, that's like retirement type shit. Like, wow. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and like when you just surpass all that, you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, and like bad things will happen, and I always just revert to saying, you know what, this is going on right now, this is bad, but I'm thankful for all this. And, you know, like I said, people look for God in the bad times. I look for him in the good and the bad times. Like, I'm actually more thankful, and my faith gets stronger in the bad times than in the good times, because people only also, they look for him in the bad times, but they're only thankful in the good times. And I'm like, you know what? I love the bad times because I know that this is God. He's not going to, first of all, he's not going to give me any situation that I can't get out of.
Yeah.
You know? And I know that once I get out of that, I'm prepared and ready for a whole new playing
Got
field.
all that knowledge.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that strength. What's one thing, final thing, this is for the viewers out there, what advice would you give to somebody who's starting a business of their own, any business, whatever it is? Do you have any advice for anybody out there who might be starting their own business, who may be scared, nervous, might not know the exact direction they want to go? Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, have faith, not only in God, but in yourself. You know, like a lot of people that I know that want to start a business and they're scared. I say, well, do you not have faith in yourself? Like, if you don't have the faith in yourself, then don't start the business.
How can anyone else believe in the
I'm
service
saying,
you're
if
gonna
you
provide?
don't have faith and you can't believe that that was a point in when I started my journey. I sat there and I said, what are my monthly expenses? And I wrote them down. And, you know, I don't remember the exact number, but let's say it was $2,000 a month. I said, you know what? If I can't produce, I can't generate at minimum $2,000 a month, which is what I make working this job, then I don't deserve it.
Gotcha.
I shouldn't have it.
Yep. Yep.
And it's just not for me. Then I suck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
You got to have that faith and believe in yourself. And if you can, once you have that, because that's the thing, a lot of people want to go into a business, but when they have all that, they have all this doubt. You know, like, oh, what if it doesn't work out for me? What if I don't make that? Like, I need this security. It's not secure.
And holding all those type of thoughts don't even allow room for the thoughts that are actually going to propel you.
That's a whole nother conversation. Like, to me, that's the devil. Like, doubt is, you know, like when you believe in these negative things, you're letting the devil get a stronghold on you. And once he has that, he can drag you wherever you want, as deep as you want to go. Bad thoughts you never thought of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he presses on that. But have faith in yourself. Sacrifice. A lot of people are not willing to sacrifice. They say they want this, they say they want to do that, they say they want to have this, but they're not willing to sacrifice.
That's a huge part of it. Yeah.
Like, when I say sacrifice, it's everything. Like, when I first started, I had, you know, friends calling me, oh, let's go out, let's do this, let's do that. And I'm like, no, like, my grocery is ramen, eggs, rice, beans. Like, I'm sacrificing not eating out.
Yeah.
I'm sacrificing
Not partying.
not going out, not partying, not drinking, not polluting my brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of sacrifice.
Time, sacrifice, everything.
Yeah, and on my free time, while everybody's partying and this and that, I'm reading. You need to become a master of your craft. You need to read and learn and educate yourself on what it is that you want to do. Like, you gotta know the ins and outs of what you're doing so well that when you talk to somebody, they know, like, you're it. Because once you have all the knowledge, you can speak with all the confidence. And people can feel that, right?
Yeah.
Feel that, yes.
Like,
That transfer. of
I could feel, listen, off rip. If somebody calls me, I could tell you they've been doing this for a while or not. Because I could feel their confidence just through the phone. And the way they carry themselves, the way they speak. and just the knowledge they have about it. So when sacrifice and study and know your craft. And like I said, have the principles, have the morals, have the respect. Those are the three takes: the faith, knowledge, sacrifice.
Well, guys, hopefully you guys have got a lot of insights here from somebody who has been in multiple businesses, successful in everything he's done. Decades of knowledge here just dropped today, over $1 billion in real estate transactions, and we're just very, very blessed to have had him come on this podcast, especially to be our first guest, and we will definitely have him back on. Like I said, he's an amazing person, a great person to follow. We'll put his Instagrams and things like that on here so that you guys can follow him and follow his journey and gain as much knowledge as you guys can for your own businesses. Again, I'm Clint. This is Justin and Diego. We thank you very much for coming along, man. Appreciate you so much, bro.
If you're a handyman looking to grow your business, or a general contractor looking to level up and get those bigger contracts, go over to bluecollareducation.org, see what we can do for you, and let's help transform your career.
Buy that. Killer, Dipset, Lil Weezy, Cash Money. Yo, ma, let me holler. Let's